And welcome to the Deuce Podcast. I'm Brad.
And I'm Jeremy.
Jeremy, we are in the middle of our Heist Movies. We broke off from our April's Cruelest month.
Thank God.
And we decided through the Sting 2, which was still part of our bad movies, is that we're like, let's do Heist sequels. And we found a couple, and we're going to share them with you. So it's episode 149 of the Deuce Podcast. Our movie this week is from the director of Ken Jeong, You Complete Me Ho, and from the writer of the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Was it really?
2/3 of the movie Going in Style. It's Now You See Me Too. The thriller heist magician movie. How would you describe this movie?
I think that was pretty succinct. It is. It's like it's almost like it's like a Robin Hood style heist with magic.
With magic, leverage, Mission Impossible aspects to it in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a team of magicians that steal from the rich information, power, technology, whatnot.
Yeah.
And give to the right resources.
Right.
Or whatnot. Right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Originally, this was going to be called, a couple things. It was going to be called Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
Oh.
Which is a better sequel name.
Yeah.
Than Now You See Me 2.
Yeah.
But the studio wanted to name it Now You See Me, the Second Act.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would be
kind of like a magician kind of thing.
Yeah.
Meaning 1 act, 2 act, and possibly a 3rd act. Because a lot of like routines, magician tricks have 3 acts.
Yes.
Or a 3rd act, which is known as the Prestige, which you get the Christopher Nolan movie, The Prestige, the name from that.
Yeah.
I think the 2nd act is called The Turn.
Yeah, it's called The Turn.
And then the 3rd, it would be The Prestige. So I think that's kind of where they probably want to go through the future. But like through COVID, I think things have been through a halt as far as the 3rd movie is concerned. They still want to. From what I know, the rumor is that they want Benedict Cumberbatch to be the villain.
Ooh.
In the 3rd movie. But I don't know if that's still through the Marvel and Doctor Strange thing.
Yeah.
If that's still up in the air or not. Although it would be a good fit for everyone.
I agree. No, you know what though? Like, okay, I get the Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. But like, I think it would have been cooler if they were like, Now You See Me, The Turn. Now You See Me, The Prestige.
Right? Or
and have
whatever.
it named after the acts of the...
Why not?
The parts of the trick.
I think because audiences are dumb and need to know that this is a sequel.
Yeah.
So we just stick a 2 on something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the sequel to the magician movie.
But we have like 80 Annabelle movies, and they're all like Annabelle, the Anklet, Annabelle.
Like the Conjuring's part of
a
franchise that's something else, or Ouija board. I don't even know. I'm making all this up. I don't know all those horror movies. Right. But this movie is a movie that we were thinking about seeing a long time ago.
Yeah.
And so we were like, well, let's watch the first one. So both of you and I have seen the first one.
Yes, we
together.
Did. Yeah.
And now we watched the second one. So everyone from the first movie except Sacha Baron Cohen's
Isla
wife,
Fisher.
Yes. Yeah. Is not in this movie. She was pregnant. So Lizzie Kaplan fills in. Lizzie Kaplan from Masters of Sex, Party Down.
Yeah. Mean Girls.
Mean Girls as well. A great addition to the cast in this movie.
Yeah.
I think. There are scenes where she just steals.
Oh my God.
The movie.
She's fantastic.
From people that she shouldn't steal the movie from.
Yeah. Honestly,
you know what I mean?
I was like, oh my God, why did it she's so much better than Isla Fisher.
Right. Like I don't. This is sad to say, but if they make a third one, keep Lizzie Kaplan.
I think that I read that she was supposed to be a permanent part of it now.
She better.
That Isla Fisher won't return, that she will be.
Yeah. And it's like it was one of those things where like fans of the first movie were disappointed, but then they were like, oh, once they watched this, they were like, okay, I can see, straight away why this person fits,
right.
in the, because this builds like a mythos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's not as, based on the first movie, I think this movie it's not as magical as the first movie.
Yeah.
As far as like, and what I mean magical, I mean not just the magic tricks,
yes,
but I mean the magicalness of magic itself.
Yeah.
You get like it explained a little too much in this movie as opposed to the first movie because it's pushing the plot along and the mythology along. And that kind of weighs on me a little bit to where maybe that's not, I mean, it's good for the plot, but might not be good for the overall aestheticness of the movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess I would say that like between the two of them, this one is much more, and we talked about it with the Heist 2, where like, sometimes with like leverage and whatever, sometimes it can be a little lazy where it's like, oh, but we did these things. And then they go through the explanation how even when they hit a rough patch, it was like part of the plan all along.
We went down the other tube. And you're like, oh, okay, sure, whatever.
Yeah. But part of that is, I think you get a little bit of that with this one.
You do. And there's moments where you are like, they're not in danger because that this is all part of a trick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so it's kind of like when you're like, well, they're not going to kill off the hero.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Nothing bad's going to happen to Superman.
I think the reason that this one works for me, though, as compared to like, and don't get me wrong, I like leverage, although sometimes I'm like, ugh, or like even like Sherlock Holmes and stuff like that. Sometimes you're like, oh my God, like it as much as you're like, wow, that's brilliant. I wouldn't have thought about that. Some of it's kind of a cheat.
Yeah. Like, oh, where'd you come up with that?
Yeah. But I think the reason that it works here for me very well is because of the magic aspect. Like there's a part where they're doing 3 different tricks in London in different places. Mm-hmm. And it's all trying to, they're like, ooh, remember this because this will be important for our final act. And so they're all doing something. And some of it's like, okay, like that's a little fantastic. But as they leave, like Lizzie Kaplan shakes her coat and like a bajillion birds fly out. Or like, what's his name? James Franco. What's his first name?
Oh, the not rapist one?
Yeah.
Daniel Franco.
Dave Franco. Yeah.
Why was I thinking Daniel Franco?
I don't know. He's the third
Daniel
one.
Franco.
Oh, Daniel Franco.
I'm also a Franco, guys.
I think you were thinking of Daniel Radcliffe and Dave Franco. But like Dave Franco's like, he sprays a bunch of cards up in the air and then disappears under them. Or like...
Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg falls back into a puddle and like dissolves into it. And everybody goes, whoa! And it's just like, okay, that's a little fantastic.
Well, even there's also another thing which we'll get to that's a little bit too... I'm not saying it goes on forever, but it goes on and it's enjoyable. But it's almost like, it's just like, it's kind of like not believable in aspects of it.
Yeah.
When they're passing the card around.
Yes.
It kind of gets to me a little bit because it's almost too fantastic. Yeah. It's almost too correct.
Right.
And too wonderful. But like when you're talking about like, well, we got to build these three magic tricks. You got to pay attention to them. And I don't think that's necessarily magic. I think that's just the way that storytelling is, and the way that like movies are supposed to be. But they are telling you, watch for this.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I mean, they're fisting it to you and saying, you got to pay attention to this.
Yeah.
As opposed to other movies that don't really tell you to, or they tell you to in silent ways.
Right.
You know, like a light goes through there or music plays.
Yes.
In certain ways, they're actually telling you to, you know,
but
pay attention to this.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I get it.
Well, but think about like
not
how
that it's bad. I thought
trick,
this was more enjoyable than the first.
Oh yeah.
movie.
Well, I think how the like magic tricks are set up, where they basically are like, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to saw this lady in half. They tell you what to look for.
Right.
They tell you what to watch.
Right.
And then when it doesn't happen, you know, like, yeah, he brings the saw down. He does whatever. The person comes out and you're like, whoa, okay. Like magic. It's a misdirect. I guess. And I think here it's because, to me, I think it's viable because it's like it's doing what magic is supposed to. When Leverage does it, I'm just like, okay, I get it. Everything's a misdirect and whatever. And it's a con. And so then it's like, yeah, I get you're conning this person.
Yes.
Or the heist too. It's a con. Versus this, it's still like a heist. It's got all the same elements, but they're framing it as...
But isn't it still a con?
It is. But they're saying, this is a misdirect. Just like how magic is supposed to be. So I buy it because it's framed in magic that is like the illusion.
Yeah, but a con is a con.
Yeah.
It can be, you know, hidden in whatever way you want to.
Yeah,
whether
but
it's magic,
I think there's,
or whether it's a movie set that they've built for 5 years through the first Sting. You know,
yeah.
like it's a long con. Like what he's playing is a very long con, and at times this is a year after the first movie, and if anything, it's almost 30 years like a long con.
Yeah,
if that even more. If you go back to the Dylan character through what happens through his dad, it's almost like, is this a con? Is this their long con, or is this the Eye's long con?
It's the Eye's long con.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, is it the Eye trying to have like promote people up? Like we're testing them.
Yeah.
Like we're testing the Horsemen to see if they're worthy enough to be in this organization of the Eye. And in turn, maybe these first two movies were like the test for the Horsemen to be predecessors. Mm-hmm. And then Dylan needs a predecessor for the leadership of that, which would be the Jesse Eisenberg character. And that's what I get from the end of this movie. Yeah, but but the conness of it, like, but I get what you're saying. There's times where I watch the old Mission Impossible, and it's like, oh, they drugged the guy and put him in the hotel room and convinced him that he has amnesia and he doesn't know where he's at, and it's like it's a big con, right? But I'm like, they've built all this stuff, to like, I'm like, what's your budget in this secret organization? It's like when Glee has all these like, they're like, well, we're cutting the arts funds, but here's the big production that you had from this, you know, mismatch song that you have from Singing in the Rain, where we brought our arraignment. It just makes no sense. Yeah. And I guess that's where I'm getting with you've talked about, where it's like almost the too much of a good thing, and now you just explain away. Not saying that this movie's bad, but in ways I'm just kind of like, can we move forward? Because there's so much magic in it, it almost relies too much on it as the vehicle. And maybe not necessarily on just the sheer cunningness of people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, would you, you know, and as far as like heist movies go, I mean, really, and it's right, it all is just a con, you know? Mm-hmm. But I think it's just how they frame that. Like, I like the fact that they're performing in front of people. Like the con, they're all trying to hide whatever. Like the magic, they're still doing stuff in the background, but they're also like, hey everybody, take a look, we're doing this. And it's like, we're going to you know, we're going to misdirect you. You know, like that's the whole point of magic, is they're telling you I'm doing this.
It's important to note that David Copperfield is the producer of these movies.
Yeah.
The guy that made the Statue of Liberty disappear makes towards the end of the movie, spoiler for a movie that came out in 2016, that an airplane took off. Like, how did you not understand what turbulence is taking off and how all that feels like?
But they showed what they did.
Yeah, but still, I don't know.
They raised it. They used big wind machines.
Also, when they do expose the con or the trick itself, there's tons of people around them. And I'm like, so did they? Hey, guys, be quiet until we, the curtain falls. And then everyone's like, yeah!
Well, it was inside of a room, and the walls came down once they got...
Oh, well, yeah, but still. Yeah. No, I don't know.
I liked it.
I did, too. I'm not saying, I didn't like this movie.
I definitely think
there's just so much that you're like... Well, for instance, they're going... They have to steal this, what do you want, a card?
Yeah.
That helps...
It basically gives people access to any system, but it can also wipe out data from whatever. So you can erase any traces of you, but you can steal whatever from anybody.
Yeah, so it's a very sleight of hand thing that they're doing, and I'm sure some of it is computer animated, and some of it's not. Obviously, the shots inside of the clothes are, and some of them are doing I assume Dave Franco is I think he learned some of that.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. I just call him Gambit. Is that the guy that throws the cards?
Throws the cards in X-Men.
Yeah, I'm are you just have him play Gambit? Well, I don't understand why you can't have him play Gambit.
Yeah, in the new because they already have a Gambit.
I don't give a shit.
Taylor Kitsch.
Okay.
He was in one of the Wolverine movies.
Okay.
So, if they reboot X-Men, fuck yeah, bring him on.
Yeah, bring him on. I'm we might as well.
Yeah.
That's just me.
As a matter of fact, I actually learned...
Shut up. I knew you were going to do this. You know why I knew you were going to do this? Because if you wouldn't, I was going to do it. So you've got some cards.
Yes,
you're going to do a trick for me right now?
Yes.
Is this a trick?
Yes. You want to?
Is this close-up magic?
Yeah, it's close-up magic.
Okay, it's not far-away magic where you go to the other room.
No.
Is this your card?
Is this your card?
I guess. I can't really see you. You're in a different room.
I can do the far-away
Well, how about this one? No, go ahead. Okay.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with...
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm going to take these two stacks.
Yeah, I'll take... Oh.
Okay. I'm going to... Shuffle this? No.
Yeah, that wasn't even shuffling.
Flourish this a little bit.
Is that what they call that? Flourish?
Yeah. Okay. Flourish. Okay. So now, I'm going to fan these out.
Is that from Ant-Man?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so tell me when. Pick a card.
Okay, a win.
Okay. Remember
I can't really see. Now you see my
no,
card.
I'm far away.
You looked at it.
You remember what it is.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So you know what it is, too.
All right, we start over.
Okay.
We get this out. I'm going
to... We're doing this right now. We're doing a
not?
podcast about a movie.
Yeah?
Okay. By the way, the director is the director of Crazy Rich Asians. I just like to put really bad movies of people... and the writer is the writer of Bill and Ted, and the first Men in Black movie. Yeah.
Was it Ed Solomon?
Yeah, Ed Solomon.
Ed Solomon.
Your script is written by Ed Solomon.
Fun fact. Ed Solomon, the villain in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, was named Chuck Denomalos. Denomalos is Ed Solomon backwards. They just named him after.
So does he do a lot of things back? He likes backward things? Because there's that scene in Now You See Me Too, which is the movie that we're reviewing. But you want to do a magic trick instead.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Where the watch is escape backwards.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to...
Stop.
What? Stop?
Yes.
Hold on.
Stop.
You can't stop on the first one.
Why?
Because then I'll know which one.
Well, no, you won't.
All right.
Go ahead.
Tell me when to stop.
I'll tell you when to stop. Can you go faster? Let's go.
No. It's hard to do with the microphone like this. Actually, just pick one out of the bunch.
That one.
Pick one out.
I did. I pointed it to it.
Yeah, don't point.
It's a little too far away. Hold on, folks.
It's far away magic.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. So you got which one you want?
Yeah.
All right, go and put it back in.
I did.
No, put it back on the deck.
It is.
Put it on.
It's nowhere in my hand.
There it is. Okay. I'm gonna.
Yeah, go ahead.
What?
This is great radio.
Okay. So right now I'm shuffling through the cards.
Flourish.
Flourish. Okay,
Flourish.
Figure out what it is. I don't think it's this. I don't think it's this. I don't think it's this card. Okay.
So Michael Caine and
Did I get it?
no,
I didn't.
no.
You sure?
Why? Why would you say that? What did you do to the card?
I didn't do anything to the card. I just have a strong magic sense that it's your card. Did I get it?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything.
Flourish!
Oh, okay. So Michael Caine. This is like the 12th movie that Michael Caine and what's his face are in.
I think it's like 6th.
Is it 6?
It's
Morgan
6.
Freeman.
Yeah.
I can never remember.
So
Morgan
Alfred
Freeman's
and
name.
Lucius Fox from Batman. Were,
Why? They just have a fun relationship, I guess.
They do.
I'm like, ugh, you two are crazy. But they were also in that movie that I mentioned at the top of the episode with Alan Arkin as the third. I think it's one of those 3 old guys do a bucket list movie.
oh God, yeah.
Just
One of those.
I'm just assuming it is. You know,
Old Man Vacation
yes.
2.
And I think the real magic of this movie is that at the beginning of it, they made Morgan Freeman look like he did in Glory. Not like as like a
They made him look
Civil
that
War,
young.
but like that young.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they used a little bit of how Marvel does that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun, don't you think?
They really go more into.
I think the mythos of this is really
Yes.
the thing that excites me a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, like it's fine. Like the acting's fine. Like the cast is fine. The acting's fine. Lisa Kaplan is enjoyable.
Very much so.
To watch. And then you also have Woody Harrelson playing his brother.
Yeah, I probably should mention that.
In the movie. Well, yeah, probably that, or we should do another damn card trick that no one can see.
I'm not. I'm just organizing the cards.
Wouldn't that be
It
great?
bothers me when they're not.
What is this, an episode of ABCD Bags? M is for magic. We do magic tricks on the radio for you.
God, write it down.
I am.
We're gonna bring it back.
Are you listening? Are you listening, Tony?
Tricks.
Bringing it back.
No, I think that
I think it's hard to be. I think we have come to always kind of second guess magic, that it almost loses its magic in a way, because we've always come to go, well, there's always kind of is an explanation for that. Yeah. Or he just pocketed this, or he just sleight of hand, right? So it's hard, I think, for audiences then to take that, to have where magic is the vehicle for the con and for your movie, and to really surprise you in certain ways.
Yeah.
And then sometimes this movie does, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, you're never, of course, like thinking it's real magic. There's a lot of sleight of hand stuff. I think that if it was almost in the realms of all of it being completely feasible, I mean, all of it theoretically could have been, but I think it's almost so ridiculous with how they do it, that, like, I'm willing to accept it being, like, this crazy sleight of hand and, like, that these people are the best. I'm willing to accept the ridiculousness of it as
because
part of
the outcome.
magic premise.
Because the outcome is to kind of the Robin Hood kind of thing. So in order to get there, the sleight of hand and the magic must take place to kind of distract for the real purpose of it.
Yeah.
Which the real purpose is, the revolution of the eye itself. Okay.
I think that...
and I like that we're building onto that, and you have the story of Mark Ruffalo's dad and the whole eye thing and the whole Morgan Freeman thing. But I wanted to know more of that. And from what I understood is that they kind of wanted to... And I don't know if this is still a thing that they want to do, but they want to do a Chinese Asian spin-off with the young kid from the magic shop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Now, that guy... oh, God, what is his name? Oh, damn it. Jay Chow, who plays Lee. He was Kato in the Green Hornet movie.
Yes. Oh my God, that's who that was.
Yeah. And so he's and honestly, he was the best part of that. Like, Seth Rogen was like, but
that's Seth Rogen.
Was that your
That was my really bad Seth Rogen.
It's good. I love it. He was honestly like the best part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And like once I was like, where do I know that kid from? And when I looked it up, and I was like, oh shit, it's Kato.
Yeah.
Like, I am all about that. That guy should be in one of these movies. He should have his own thing. Or like, he even helped with some of the stuff. I'm like, just make him a regular cast member in the next one if you do another one.
Yeah. Why can't he be a horseman?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be the four horsemen? But he is part of the eye, so I think it's because they were testing them.
Yeah.
He's already been tested, I think.
Yeah.
And then so maybe he will be if he would, if they do have a third one, which I don't see why they wouldn't.
I don't see why you
these
wouldn't.
are movies that have become, I think, hits. I just think that it just becomes. I have a hard time believing that the third one doesn't eat its own tail. Doesn't become so fantastic that it almost becomes too unrealistic.
I guess so.
Do you know what I mean?
No, and I
That's what
understand.
I'm afraid
we've
of.
seen that happen how many times?
So many times.
Yeah. But it could also be a really good one. Like it's just a crapshoot of movies too. Like how many times have we seen where the second one is so much better than the first, and the third one tanks, or we see where the first one's good, second one blows, third one's great. Like it just kind of depends.
Star Wars or Star Trek movies.
Yeah. I mean, it happens, you know. I mean, first X-Men movie was okay. Then there was the second one, and the third one was amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about this movie?
What do you think about Daniel Radcliffe?
I think he's fine. It's fun. I think that he could have... Knowing Daniel Radcliffe's like pedigree of chewing up scenery past Harry Potter,
Yeah.
I think he could have chewed it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Hammed it up and given us a really fun villain. Having said that, I think it was fun. There's that moment where he's taking pictures when he hypnotizes them.
Yeah.
Brings them over. I thought that was pretty funny.
I did too.
What about you?
I thought he was a good kind of crazy, where he wasn't like, he was that guy where he seems like he was personable and charming to like where they could just talk with him. And then you were like, there were moments where you're like, oh, maybe he's not so bad. And you realize he's like super, super awful. And so I thought he did a pretty good job. I also think that like, Daniel Radcliffe doesn't do a lot of villain stuff, you know? Like, I think about, or at least around that time, like, I think about...
Also, I don't think he was in this movie enough.
No.
I wanted him more.
Yes and no. Like, I guess it depends. Like, if he was in more, maybe it would have been too much. I almost would have liked to see him out with them doing something to where you think that, like, oh, maybe he's on their side, and then realize he's...
You're all about that. You're like, because there was moments where, and I don't blame you, but there was like, you were like, the FBI agent is Morgan Freeman's daughter, who says she's not still. We don't know. But you would have figured we would have had that twist.
I think they would, if it was true, I think we would have seen it already.
We would have seen it already. There was moments where you're like, Woody Harrelson, who you met once, but you actually met Woody Allen.
And he was mad because I called him Woody Harrelson.
Well, whatever. I'm just saying, people need to know that, you at what? How old were you? 10? You didn't know who Woody...
32. No, yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, you 10. Were like, oh, I bet they switched, and I even thought, oh, maybe they switched roles, and he's helping them out.
Yeah.
You start kind of not believing your own mind and going, I bet they did this, and then I bet they did this, and I think that kind of almost, like, you kind of maybe shouldn't do that, but I think this movie forces you to do it. Yeah. Because of the magic aspect of it. That's what I'm saying. Well,
isn't that part of, like, I mean, honestly, isn't that part of the magic trick, though, too, is that you're anticipating what's going to happen.
But isn't that part of the con as well?
Yeah, I mean, we already established the whole thing is the same. It's just a misdirect. It's just kind of what the damage is from it,
The smoke and mirrors is just magic.
Yeah.
As opposed to whatever it could be. It could be a boxing match. It could be a, timeout in
an art
Vegas
heist
or whatever.
In Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So I guess you're wrong, but to me, I'm like, well, then maybe they're not. I mean, they are magicians, but they're not magicians.
They're magicians.
I don't know.
Yeah, but they're magicians, but they are using it for.
But are they magicians or are they con artists first, or are they Robin Hood? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how would you label them first and foremost? Because I think they would be, almost revolutionarist or shambolists in a way, where they want to shake stuff up. But are they doing it because...
I still think they're magicians nonetheless. Like, okay, look...
No one's really forcing them to do it, really.
What do you mean?
Do you know what I mean? Well, they're being tested. No one's putting a gun to their head and saying, you need to be part of the eye. They have kind of volunteered their services to kind of be tested for this.
Yeah, but they're
the only person who hasn't is... But what I'm saying is the only person who really has a lot of stake in it is Dylan.
Yeah.
He's the only one with a lot of history in the eye and, and whatnot. Yeah. I mean, we're supposed to believe that. Like, I'm with you knowing that Dylan's dad's probably not dead.
Yeah.
He's probably in charge of the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
We all kind of think that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I'm like, there's no history with those other horsemen saying, you know what I mean? Because the other girl left. I know she was pregnant, the actress. And we just bring, there was a moment where you were like, oh, I hope Lizzie Kaplan's character isn't like a mole or bad. Yeah. And I'm like, why do we have to think that?
Yeah.
I don't want to think that because she's so fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we've kind of controlled ourselves or in our mind. Oh, I bet there's a twist here. It's like watching an M. Night movie.
Yeah.
We're like, I'm waiting for it. It almost kind of takes just the pleasure away.
Yeah.
But again, I like this movie. So.
But that's part of like what makes these illusions and magic tricks so fun is like the tension of it. Because okay, think about like woman getting sawed in half. The saw's coming down, he's sawing, and you're like, oh my god, is she getting hurt? But when she's not, you feel that relief, and you're like, oh, and you're willing to just like accept that.
What I'm saying is, we've seen that trick over and over throughout the years.
Yeah,
that we know the woman's going to be safe. She's going to be put back together. There's no challenge to it. We've already conditioned ourselves
right
to know that there's a twist. So when we are going, oh, there's going to be a twist somewhere. Where's the twist?
Yeah.
We're constantly thinking in our head what the twist is and not necessarily what the plot is.
Right, but that's part of the tension of it is, like, I'm thinking, oh God, is Lizzie Kaplan bad? Like, the whole time my mind is trying to anticipate what these twists and flourishes are.
Depends on how you enjoy a movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're constantly, like, bombarded with, too much tension in you.
I'd rather it be like this movie where I'm like anticipating something and saying, hey, this is what it's going to be. Oh God, maybe Lizzie Kaplan's bad, or they changed positions, or they did whatever. Like, I would rather be taking those guesses and then it not being those things.
I would rather just go along for the ride and just accept.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
I would rather take those guesses and be pleasantly surprised that they're like, nope, it was none of that. Like, but how many movies have we seen? And you watch plenty of movies with me where I'm like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen.
And you're always mostly right.
Yeah.
But you weren't right this time, and it drove me nuts that you weren't, because you normally are.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so they probably are, because you've you're a person that, everyone has that, where their husband or wife watches a murder mystery, and within 10 minutes, they're like, it was that guy.
Yeah.
And you're like, no. And it turns out to be that person.
Yeah.
And you're like, how did you know? You know what I mean? You're like one of those people. And
but I'm usually very happy to be wrong when I see something like that where I'm like, or something like,
but I think
me.
you were wrong, and I don't think it was for the right reasons this time. I think you were wrong because I feel it wasn't even a misdirect. I think you were misdirecting yourself in your mind because you were anticipating a misdirect.
Yeah.
That's why.
But I think they put out elements in the story.
Correct.
That you're meant to go, I've seen this a million times.
Right.
And then it wasn't. It was a misdirect because they intentionally set you up for an over anticipation.
I agree.
And then
I'm just saying that this movie should have done it more. I should have been wowed a little bit more in this movie, and I wasn't. I think you were wowed a little bit more than I was, because I just was kind of like, I was anticipating even more of a big thing. And maybe that's where the prestige comes in.
Yeah.
In like a third movie or whatnot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just was like, I don't know. I was not saying again that this is bad. I think this is a good movie.
I do too. I enjoy this.
Yeah.
I enjoy this. I don't think people like this one as much as the first one, but I really like this one.
Yeah, and I agree. And I'm trying to understand why maybe they didn't.
Yeah.
And I think by bringing those out, by saying, we've seen this before, there are aspects of this movie that are kind of like the first movie.
Yeah.
And where it's not necessarily upping the game.
Yeah.
But it is upping the mythos of the world. And I like that.
Yes.
I think that's where the strength comes in.
Yeah.
And that's where I like, in the vein of like, say the way that a Men in Black would have done it in a better way.
What was the name of the show on? There was a show based around a magic.
Oh, on ABC.
Yeah.
Like where was it Deception?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I enjoyed Deception. I was willing to go along with their like stuff again because it was like magic tricks and it was whatever. And I was like, ooh, because there also was a mythos. A lot of magic has that kind of like, even if it's illusion stuff, it still has that element of like, ooh, like the
and he did have a team like that where it was like Vinnie Jones would be all like, we did that. Well, that's not that's a really bad Vinnie Jones, but you'd be like, we did this and we, this is how we did it. And, and you started kind of liking the characters, and so, it was sad when they canceled that show.
Yeah.
Because I thought there was that moment where it was like, but it kind of got kind of Sherlock-y at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's still
going
like
to because it has to fill
kind
in.
of, yeah.
Yeah, procedure. Yeah. Should we do our questions?
Yeah, let's do that. What do you think is the best part of this movie?
I besides Lizzie Kaplan, because I think she's wonderful in this movie. Yeah. She steals a lot of it. I think it's building onto what it brought forth in the first movie, the mythos of the world, not just magic, but the world itself, with the eye, with the with this kind of secret organization that's helping kind of expose the right people, but and the fact that like the first two movies are kind of like tests for the Horsemen. So my favorite part is the fact that I think that this is a world building movie.
Yeah.
And it pushes it forward. Like it makes me want to see the third one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To go,
absolutely.
Okay, they're going down, because at the end of the movie you see the spiral staircase, and then the whole the camera turns and you see that the spiral staircase kind of looks like an eye.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, they are in the eye now.
Yes.
So now they're going to do... So I think they were testing for the eye.
Yeah.
Now they're going to do a heist for the eye. Like, they are part of the eye now.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I like that.
Yeah, I do too. I think the part that I like most about this is I really like the team and how it's put together. Like, I mean, we've seen so many movies where they have a team and like everybody's got a specialty on it. But I think that they really work the team aspect really, really well in this movie. I think even better on this one than on the first one.
Do you think it's because of Lizzie Kaplan? I swear.
Yeah, part of it is.
I think it is.
And I think Woody Harrelson.
Especially
because he's playing him and his brother, and he and his brother have like the same skill set, and so he gets to do different things. You see different aspects of it. I think that like, I like that they each have this thing that they do, but they work it so well in tandem. Like, it wasn't like all right, Bob, you're up, and then the next guy does his shtick. It's it's just moves so...
Or the fact that they're kind of teaching each other their own skills.
Yeah. It moves so smoothly, and it's in concert that's... I thought it was really... It's like my favorite part. I love them working together as a team.
This movie doesn't... It drags a little in the middle, but it doesn't drag that much.
No.
It's an over 2 hour movie, but it rides pretty well.
Yeah, it does. Like, I enjoyed it. I wasn't like... Even when like we were at the end and we paused it to take a quick break or whatever, it wasn't like... It was like... Sometimes we get those movies where we're like, Jesus, we're only this far into it.
But I was more like, oh, good. We have a little bit more of this.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the ride. Yeah.
Do you think this movie stands on its own?
This is an interesting... Like, when I was watching it, I was trying to answer this while I was watching the movie, and it felt like I couldn't answer this in a way, because there is that... the epilogue at the beginning, or the, what's the word I want? Prologue at the beginning, with Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Kind of telling you about the first movie. But I think that you kind of need to watch these movies back to back.
Yeah.
In order to really enjoy them.
Yes, I would agree.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you could have a good double feature with this.
Oh, yeah.
And be all like, okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think so. I'd say no, but for the right reasons, it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could... I think with the prologue, you could get away with just watching this one. You wouldn't quite grasp what the hell is happening, especially with the stuff with... I think especially with the stuff with the FBI.
Yes, the FBI stuff is very
the rest of it you can grasp onto.
Yeah, maybe.
But the FBI stuff, because it loses some of its magic, because one of the great things about the first one is when you figure out the Dylan is part of, Yes. And so I think if you just watch this one, the magic's already sprung. Like that the reveal is already
right.
And so like watching them back to back, though, you're like, oh shit, okay, and then it continues on from there. Like,
basically, don't start with this one.
Yeah, I think you would. You can get away with watching this one, and I think you could piece things together. But
it almost ruins the first one for you.
Yes, but it is just infinitesimally stronger if you watch the first one first. So, Does this make you want to watch the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset we haven't had a third one.
I am too.
I'm ready to kind of... I don't know why. There's just something about these. And I'm with you on this. Like, I was nitpicking in a way. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm wondering why people rank this movie lower than what it should be. Because I don't think this is a terrible movie.
Yeah.
And it kind of upsets me in a way. Because I'm like, there are other bad movies that you could really waste your energy on. This is not, I don't even think this is a movie that you put on the background and just do something.
No.
I think you watch this.
Yeah.
I think you watch this, you eat some chips and some French onion dip or whatever.
Yeah.
And you sit down for a rainy afternoon.
Yeah.
Which is what we did. And you watch these movies.
Well, this is the kind of thing, like, sometimes, like, things just shock me when, like, somebody's just like, this movie's so unbelievable. And then they, like, now let me watch something, more relatable, like Fast and the Furious 8.
Right.
And I'm just like, what? That's fucking ridiculous to me.
But to me, these movies are Fast and Furious movies, but they're just
just with magic.
The heist and magic.
They're just Fast
These
and
are
Furious
supposed
for
to
magic
be
nerds.
Entertaining movies. There's a reason why those movies tend to be on FX, like on the weekend.
Yeah.
Is because those are just kind of chill out, kind of like
this. Did you notice this movie also? You can watch it on FX now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. With commercials, but you can do that. But we didn't do.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Would you reboot, continue, or cancel this?
Well, hopefully they do.
Yeah, I hope
like
they
we
continue it.
we were saying, continue. But yeah, no, I say go for it.
I could
spin off the Chinese Asian like kind of thing too.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want with it.
Yeah,
I think you can go further.
I could actually. So here's what I think would be awesome.
It can't just be them. I mean, there's got to be other parts of the eye.
Well, okay, here's what I think. And I do want it to continue. I want to continue with these folks' stories. But I also think you could spin it off and do a prequel with Dylan's dad.
Why not?
Dylan's dad, Morgan Freeman, and
right, me too.
Boo Boo, the old Asian woman.
Yes.
When they were young. And have them be a team before they got to the eye.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of have it be their story about how they got into it. Like, I think that'd be fucking cool. And then you could just have that be the kind of spin-off.
I'd watch that show.
Yeah. And then it's a period piece. And you can, like, show what it was like before the tech aspect came into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because then you have and these tricks, but you have to have an analog aspect.
Yes.
To them.
Yeah.
Which almost is even more fascinating to me.
Yes, agreed.
Because there's stuff you had to like pay attention a little bit even more.
Yes.
You had to like really fine graft. Like in the way that things weren't too flashy back then, which they're more commercialized, flashy now. That I agree with you.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good. I think that'd be a good addition to it.
Also, the fact that like. If the eye made him fake his own death to test him or to bring him into the organization.
Yeah.
What a terrible thing to do to a child.
I know. Well, that's what I was like, because thought maybe his dad was going to show up, or be in charge of it, but I was like, but like part of the way through, I started thinking, oh my God, like it's not going to be like happy because why did you abandon him for all this time? And I still think maybe they might go that way, but I'm also like, damn, that would be rough. It almost would be like I wonder if they'll do more of a who killed him kind of thing. Or maybe the end of the prequel one will allude to what happened with the father, and maybe it'll like basically flow into the backstory and like lead into the first one of how Dylan got where he is. But I can get behind it. And you want some of your experience in 2 words?
Do I?
Yeah.
I'm terrible at this. Magical mythos.
Okay.
I'm more the aspect of the culture behind it as far as what the eye is considering doing and building that world. And even what you just said, like I'm fascinated with that more than I'm fascinated with building the magic trick or seeing what the biggest next big magic trick heist kind of is. Having said that, that would be fun to watch too. But I'm just saying, those are my 2 words.
Yeah,
and yours would be. Go ahead.
You want to guess what it is?
No.
Project it over to your brain.
Close magic.
Nope.
Far
Turning
magic.
Tricks. because
they hoard themselves out.
It's the second part. It's the turn, and they're doing tricks, turning tricks. It's the only thing it could mean.
Well, folks, remember the sequel is king. No, I'm just joking.
I was like, wow, damn, we're just going.
Wow.
We're just into that.
I say watch this movie.
Oh,
I say watch it with the first movie.
Yes. I would say watch it back to back.
Or
so this
wait
one
for the
takes
third
place
one.
a year after the first one.
Correct.
So like you can reasonably go and just pick up where you left off.
Yes, you really can. I mean, that's you're probably gonna go. What happened to the one character and why is she now Lizzie?
What happened to Isla Fisher? And the answer is who cares?
Who cares? Honestly, what
so much better.
What a great addition like that was.
Yeah. Although
I feel bad because I'm just like whatever.
I almost wish it was better than something better than okay. So they're obviously on the run, and they're like, and she broke up with you. Well, what happened to her? Like, so did she just leave and like disappear into? Mm-hmm. Like it would have been.
I do like that Lizzie Kaplan's character was all about Franco's character.
Yes.
She was just like, and you could do this if you want to.
Yeah.
Like just macking on him any moment she can.
She's such a great character.
She's like great. Well, I love her anyway. Just like anything that she does. Where can people find us?
People can find us at thedeucepodcast.podbean.com.
Can they?
They can.
Or is that a trick?
Flourish. You can find us at Google Play, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, a lot of those podcatchers. You can also find us at thedeucepodcast. I'm sorry. NoPhonyNetwork.com. And NoPhonyNetwork.com, along with our other podcast mates. Whoa. Jeez, what are you doing?
I was just doing a trick.
Were you?
Yeah.
With the candy. Watch.
Is this your card?
Yes.
I knew it.
The NoPhonyNetwork.com, along with our other podcast mates. You can also find us on Facebook at The Deuce Podcast and on Twitter at Deuce Podcast.
Correct. We'll be back probably next week.
I think so.
Doing another heist movie.
Yep.
If you haven't figured it out, Ocean's 12's coming up. Yeah. I mean, there's not that many heist
We're not even going to
sequels.
say, flourish.
Flourish.
We're just going to tell.
I mean, come on. There's not that many heist movies.
No.
When we were trying to think, there might be one other one, but I can't think of it right now. But Ocean's 12 is the one that. So come back and see what we have to complain about that movie. The unbelievableness of that movie. Ocean's 12.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, I saw that in the theater.
Yeah.
And I was just bored. So hopefully I won't be. But I was in a really weird
You know what? At the time
in my life,
I loved Ocean's 11. Like, was obsessed
with that movie. A lot of people
movie.
did, yeah.
That was a movie I could watch over and over and over, and I could not get sick of it. Mm-hmm. And I saw Ocean's 12 and was like, oh, okay. And then when I go back and watch Ocean's 11, I'm like, oh no, Ocean's 12 took the magic from me. Like, it was just like, so I'm like, oh.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm interested in watching it again because it's been a long time. And so, like, I'm actually pretty excited to watch it because I want to see if you still have a different perspective of it now that I'm older.
Well, we'll see. So come back next week and see if Jeremy has a different perspective on Brad Pitt and George Clooney
and Matt Damon
and Elliot Gould. Well, my version of an Elliot Gould. All right. On that note, get vaccinated, people. Wear a mask, I guess. If you're fully vaccinated, Who knows? You know, I don't know what.
Just go with website. They'll tell you what to do.
Go CDC website, right?
Yes.
All right. Sequels King, folks.
Bye.
还真不给力，又挂着耍着嘴的神经积极分散注意，我根本不理生的力气，你还真有耐心啊！万一我姿态消失了铅笔，手里边就摆个都是小朋友的把戏，猜你应该是用了张眼的把戏，不然你看看你旁边的观众他们都跑到哪去？即兴如画，浪迹天涯，认真起来，我连我自己都害怕。在不同的层次，你看不见我，看不见我，看不见我，看不见我。